Scott. Mr. Tuck's down there.
That'd be this guy.
That's super see ya.
All right, good morning. Thank you for coming to our August 1st board meeting. We do appreciate people that come and take part in our county government. I'm going to call this meeting to order and ask Craig Slay, would you pray for us, Craig?
Let's pray. Lord, we come before you. We acknowledge that we need your presence with us here today. Thank you for the wisdom and the discernment that you impart. You give it abundantly. You give it to us, Lord, through the skills and the abilities that you bless these men with. Thank you for their willingness to sacrifice their careers, their time, their effort and energy, Lord, to serve their fellow man. Thank you for that. Thank you for the sacrifices that their families make. Lord, I think about our first responders. I think about our law enforcement officers and all the people that make sacrifices themselves so that we can have public safety in this place, so that our homes can be safe, so that we can come here and exercise the privilege that it is to participate in our government. Father, those things that we cannot take for granted and we don't. Thank you for that blessing. I pray, Father, that you'll give us what we need today to conduct the business of the county in a way that pleases you. In Christ's name, amen.
All right. I want to deviate a little bit from our agenda because we have a big number of people we want to recognize, and then I don't want to leave them standing too long. We're going to go into public comments and recognize our Rankin County Information Technology Department for the hard work and quick action during the nationwide outage service on July 19th and then for a couple more days. So I'm going to ask Craig, would you take over with this recognition?
Absolutely. Bill, I'm going to get you to come forward and your entire team, guys, everybody from the IT department that has been so instrumental in helping us get through this little technology impediment that we had not too far back in time here. So this is going to be a resolution that I'm going to read, and these guys are going to be recognized, and I'm going to try my best not to butcher any names. But it may be that as we go through the names, I don't pronounce it correctly. So what I want you guys to do is to exercise discretion and don't call me out in front of everybody for getting it wrong, okay? So I'm going to read this resolution that's been executed on behalf of the Board of Supervisors by each of the supervisors and by our Chancery Clerk, Mr. Scarborough. This is a resolution that is commending our Rankin County Information Technology Department for exemplary service during a nationwide outage of service. The Rankin County Board of Supervisors recognizes the indispensable service to employees and constituents delivered by technology and digital equipment across all county functions. Daily life in county government cannot function without working technology tools, computers, cellular devices, and other technology-based equipment. Rankin County citizens expect county services to be delivered quickly, efficiently, accurately on a daily basis. And our employees expect and desire that technology tools required to perform their work and made available at great expense by county taxpayers remains in good working order, accessible, and available when needed. And whereas on occasion there are technology-based interruptions to county services caused by nefarious actors, system malfunctions, bad weather, software glitches, or sometimes user errors. Right, Scott? Among many other causes. When such situations arise, the Board of Supervisors depends on critically important, well-trained, dependable, punctual, and dedicated county employees in our IT department to step up and meet the challenges of maintaining our systems and all of our associated systems that function as the backbone of county government. Whereas on July the 19th, 2024, a nationwide outage of service occurred when the third-party data security vendor known as CrowdStrike suffered a critical failure caused by a defective software update. Virtually all county government functions, including law enforcement operations, were impacted, affecting some 300 computers and users. And whereas the employees of the Rankin County IT Department developed an immediate solution and systematically using all hands-on deck approach went department to department, computer to computer, restoring system functionality until all of our systems function normally. Despite almost insurmountable odds, the IT team delivered full functionality to our systems before close of business on July the 19th. We highly commend our IT team for their unwavering commitment in serving our citizens and our county government employees. Therefore, it's resolved by the Rankin County Board of Supervisors that we commend the exemplary actions of our Rankin County IT department and its team, led by our IT director, Wills Cottrell. Wills, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for jumping in there and having your team go to bat and pull all the stops out to make sure that we got back online. It was a Herculean effort. The team members are as follows: Cole Chrisman, Ethan Hobby, Brian Kittrell, Tony Lowry, Terrell McCrory, Zane Moshe. Oh, did I get it? Chance Smith and Ben Spears. Thank you all for your for all that you do to help Rankin County government serve its citizens well. That's been signed on behalf of the supervisors and by our Chancery Clerk. Guys, thank you for everything that you have done and will continue to do to help county government function at the top of the heap. We count on you guys. You are well thought of. You are appreciated. And this is one small way that we can make that appreciation public so that everybody knows just how important we know that you are to how this government functions. Thank you for what you do.
Heck yeah, we did it all in-house too. Thank you, fellas.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. That's a great job.
We know there's user error happening right now, so y'all get out there and try to fix.
All right, as they leave, I'm gonna call to order our planning commission meeting. We go to our June 27th, 2024 minutes. Do I have a
Make a motion to approve.
motion? All right, Brad makes a motion to approve those minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Jay makes a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Old business, do we have any old business we need to discuss?
There's none.
Okay. New considerations.
So the first item we have is John Adams is seeking a conditional use permit to construct a 24x40 pavilion for the Fannin Community Center on Church Road. This is a 2-acre parcel that's owned RE1. Here's an aerial view of the property. The pavilion will be placed on the existing foundation from a previous gathering structure. They'll have a picnic table under the pavilion for community use at no charge, and in the future, they're planning to add a walking trail. These are the elevations. And then this is an example of what the structure will resemble. Here's a view of the property. And then these are the surrounding properties.
You sit here. Make most at the public hearing.
Second.
All right, Jay makes a motion. Scott seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, now I'm going to go back. I'm gonna go back to our Rankin County Board meeting. We're gonna adjourn this for a short time. And Craig Slay,
Yes, sir.
item number 4.
Number 6.
I'm sorry, 6. I don't know how to do Roman numerals very well.
Which sub-item, Steve, are we doing item B?
A.
Item A.
Let's start, just go down through A.
Oh, okay, all right, I
Let's
got you.
do it all.
All right. Item 8 under my section is authority to set a public hearing for September the 3rd at 9 a.m. and authority to publish notice of a public hearing to consider an amendment to the Rankin County Solid Waste Management Plan. This has been requested by American Tire Distributors at 500 US 49 Frontage Road, Richland, 29102. You see the zip code there. At any rate, what this is about, gentlemen, is a request for an expansion of waste tire receipt and transportation at this particular location, and that interfaces with our solid waste management plan. And so we've had that reviewed by our engineer, Mr. James Hall, and he has notated that that pending a public hearing for the receipt of commentary, that's why we need to set that on the 3rd, that we don't anticipate that will require an amendment, but we want to go through the process of having the public hearing and letting the public be notified and speak on that issue. So what you're doing is setting the hearing and authorizing the publication of the notice for that date. I don't anticipate that we're going to actually have to amend the solid waste management plan to accommodate the request, but we want to go through the process of the public hearing.
So would this should be a second option for people to be picking up and disposing of tires?
Yes, they, once they have all of their, they've got to deal with DEQ, Jay. That's beyond our purview. The first step.
We have one already doing this?
Yes, my understanding is we have one Southern Tire, Mike, Southern Tire?
Yeah, and this
Yes,
would be,
Southern Environmental.
this would be limited, it's not public, I don't believe.
This is limited, I believe, to their,
Right, I think they have a distribution network or tire centers, and so this is a location where I think they anticipate not making this available for public use, but for their own internal use.
Just for private, we don't
Right.
use.
Okay.
So they need a place to stage the waste tires and then ultimately to transport them for disposal. So that's what this is.
all right?
I'm make a motion to, I guess, set the public hearing for September the 3rd.
All right, Brad makes a motion.
Second.
Sid seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. All right.
Mr. President, item B under my section is a discussion item for the county's participation, if any, in a City of Brandon tax increment financing project. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's referred to mostly as the Brandon Hotel project. It came up for discussion in 2023. There was a good bit of talk about it. I believe that we saw a presentation about the project. My understanding is that the City of Brandon has approved their portion of the TIF project. The matter never came before this board for final determination. This board has never spoken on its participation in that project officially, formally, has not adopted any resolutions of intent, hasn't set any public hearings, all of the things that are required before a TIF project can actually be approved for county participation. None of that has actually happened yet. And so this is an opportunity for there to be a discussion about that particular TIF project. My understanding is, and an invitation was extended for the developer of the project to be present today and anybody else that wants to speak on that matter. I don't know what the pleasure of the board is, whether the board wishes just to discuss among itself or hear from others about the project, but I'll take the direction from the chair.
What was the discussion on the amount on the TIF?
So our present TIF policy, Brad,
Yeah.
such as it is roughly that the county will participate at the overall rate of half of the county's ad valorem.
Craig,
Well, no, the scope is half. This particular discussion last year included the county pledging all of the ad valorem, the county's ad valorem, with the exception of any millage associated with Hines Community College and any millage associated with road and bridge. That was the original discussion. The board never finalized that, and so the draft paperwork that I have looked at indicates that pledge, the level of the pledge would be 100% of the county's ad valorem less Hines Community College millage, whatever is associated with support for the community college, and road and bridge. And so if you do the numbers, you get pretty close to a 50%. I think it's slightly more than 50% when you do it that way, when you describe the county's pledge that way. That's slightly greater than 50% of the county's ad valorem that would be in support. So that would technically deviate from our standing policy, TIF policy, which is not more than 50%. So that's where things stood. And-
Craig, we
Yes, sir.
have two of our board members did not hear the presentation. And if there's someone in the room that would like to give us a brief presentation so that all of us are, I guess, educated.
Mr. President, I'll jump up first. I'm Chris Mace, outside counsel for the city of Brandon. Was here last year when we made the presentation on behalf of the Thrash group. Joe Thrash and his dad Ike are the developers of the project. They're here today, ready to give an update. I have a copy of the presentation that was given last year for the benefit of everybody's recollection. This was done with a little more fanfare last year up on the big screen. But as Craig mentioned, it is known as the Brandon Heights project. It's the Brandon Heights, City of Brandon Heights TIF Plan 2023. It's a hotel project, and I'll let Joe and his dad describe a little bit more of this, but it is more than a hotel project. It's a hotel project. It's some mixed use across the commons from the hotel project. It's housing associated with it. This is situated on a parcel of land owned currently by the city of Brandon that sits between City Hall and the city park next door. As Attorney Slate mentioned, we were here last year. We presented the project. We were waiting until the city had taken formal action. I think, frankly, since then, the company's been going through their pre-development work, design, engineering, what have you, to understand what the costs were. The ask last year was that the county participate at the same level the city was participating in, which is a pledge of all of its incremental ad valorem tax for the project. I think in discussions with Attorney Slay, after that, we went back, we carved out in the TIF plan those exceptions you mentioned. There's also an exception in the TIF plan where the county's contribution would also never exceed the dollar amount annual contribution from the city. And given the millage differential between the two, that probably helps us on our 50% issue. I doubt we'll have an issue with that as a result of the combination of those things. But the ask is today, I'll let Joe and his dad give an update on the presentation and where things stand. They are getting close to move forward. The TIF piece is a critical piece of their funding for the project. The state of Mississippi is participating as well, meaning MDA and the governor's office have signed off on the participation of the project in the tourism rebate program. So a portion of the sales tax will also go to defray some of the cost of the project over a span of 15 years. There's quite a bit of civil work to be done on that side. If you're familiar with it, it sits on a hill, the hill between City Hall and the park. So some of that has to be cut. There's a very significant piece of civil engineering work that'll have to be constructed on the north end, a very significant retaining wall to hold all of that back for the project to sit up there. Will be a prominent project sitting very, very visible from I-20. Whether you're eastbound or westbound, and if you think about it, it overlooks the amphitheater across the interstate. But I'll let Joe and his dad come up and give an update on this, but the ask at the end of the day is that this board approve basically a resolution to publish a notice of intent to consider and adopt a TIF plan at, I don't know when the mid-month meeting was. We might be able to make the publication date by then, but not later than the first Monday in September when this board convenes again.
Hey, Chris, hadn't been some issues with power, something with energy over there on acquiring some property from them where this site's going? Are you familiar with that?
I know Entergy owns some property next door to it. I'll defer to the mayor or Attorney Baker on that. I'm not aware of any problem.
Okay, okay.
The city of Brandon is working with Entergy. Entergy owns a tract of land next to or in relation to the area. Entergy's gonna retain the substation, and we've already worked out the details, and they're gonna convey the rest to the city.
Good deal.
That's done. We're just waiting on the final paperwork. We got the updated appraisal, and Entergy's reserving some easements, and those have been drawn and they have been approved. And so we should be doing the paperwork on that by sometime in August.
Okay, thank you.
Joe, I'll let you guys give your update on the project. I think this in the past 12 months have gone from sort of the conceptual drawings that you see on the presentation to far more robust construction plans, but nothing that shows as well as sort of those conceptual areas.
Well, thank you again
Yeah.
for having us. I'm Joe Thrash, for those that don't know, and we're the Thrash Group from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. It's kind of unusual to do this without any any kind of graphic.
We got it right.
Oh, good. So you've got it. So it's essentially a really beautiful hotel sitting over the interstate, kind of towering over it, and then mixed use all wrapped around this central courtyard. And the courtyard's kind of the heartbeat of the whole thing. So we have a lot of things going into the courtyard, whether it's art or whether it's murals or whether it's whatever, and it kind of ties in all the uses. What he was talking about, and a lot of the delay has been, the site was a little more challenging than we anticipated. We've now figured it all out. Oh, thank you. I unfortunately know this thing too well. I was just making sure. I was making sure they'd seen it. But yeah, there's a nice fountain feature when you come in. But what took a long time was just the site is, in the words of the engineer, the most expansive clay he'd ever seen. So I think we maybe even undersold some of the things. There's a 13-foot retaining wall when you come in on one side. So as we always say, the more challenging the site, the prettier it is at the end of the day, which is usually true. So that's what you're going to see here. Is it's going to be, I mean, it's honestly just it's a beautiful development. It's we've gotten more and more proud of it as we've done it. I mean, I wish we had them. We have full sets of plans. We're submitting to the DEQ now. So we would hope to have a dirt permit, 45 to 60 days. I don't know how long that takes. And then we would go, as I've said from the beginning, we'll go the second we get the permit. We really just had to figure out a way to minimize some of the cost of the civil work, because it was a little jarring the first time we sent it out for a bit. But yeah, it's essentially, like I said, it's a beautiful project. We're really proud of the way it's come together. We really love the restaurant that's going in the hotel. It's a big like arch area that goes into it, and then of course there's outdoor seating out into the courtyard. I'm happy to answer any questions on it, but it's a project we're really proud of. It's a challenging project because everything is challenging now. I think inflation and rates, but I think we've managed to put most of it together. But I'm happy to, if you've got any questions.
What was the holdup on moving forward? So it's been a minute, you know.
Yeah, it's, I mean, the hardest part is starting. So it's like we're very busy, and if we don't kick everyone like from behind every week, everything just seems to take longer than we want it to. So it's like, I think the main part was it probably took about a month longer to draw than we were originally told. And then once the civil came back, it just takes a long time to have all those parties meet. It was never us. You know, it's like as soon as you can get it together, we're good to go. But it's like you have this engineer meeting, the civil meeting, and then they had to work out several things with the city, which the city's been great on, because we're kind of sharing some drainage. We don't ever know that on the front end, right? It's like we always assume everything's like a perfect rectangle and you're gonna get in to go and just get going, and it never works that way. But at no point have we been the holdup. We've just been trying to circle everything together and get going.
So refresh my memory, how many hotel rooms is it gonna be?
88 now.
88.
It was 86, I think, the last time we came in here.
How many apartments?
95.
Okay.
And then there's about 22,000 square feet, which I think may have been 18 originally. It's about 22,000 square feet of office and retail, which is going up on that's kind of that front corner building. You see
One that's angled?
Yeah, yeah. Which this doesn't really even really do it justice, because this was kind of done before the exteriors were finished out, but it's a really pretty building.
So it's gonna have one main big restaurant, then it's gonna have maybe, I think.
It's probably gonna have
previous a
two.
Sports bar and grill or something, or,
You know, we haven't really, there's a couple of people that I think are interested.
yeah.
What we want to make sure is that it's something that's local to Jackson. Like, we don't really want a franchise in there, because it doesn't really fit what we do. But there will be a hotel a restaurant in the hotel. It's most likely like it's kind of an interesting concept, but like a high-end tapas kind of deal, with like a bar and then a separate bar where you have like an exterior oven. It's a very interesting concept. And then we want to get someone local to Jackson to put another restaurant in the retail of that front building.
You ought to be able to find somebody from Jackson to live, come out here.
Well, the area. Yeah, the area, if you will. Yeah. I think as long as it's a really, really good restaurant, we'd be interested in it. That's kind of where we're at. So, and I don't think it's going to be very hard to find, because I think, it's a very nice place. Yeah. And I think what they've drawn, I'd love to take credit for it. It's like usually somebody else that drew it all. What they've done, and like putting it around the central courtyard and the way the development's done, it's just a really nice development for anywhere. Like I said, it has challenges, like they all have challenges. Certainly the last year and a half doesn't make anything easier, but it's we're proud of the way it looks right now, and I think it's going to be a heck of a development.
Didn't you tell us y'all done a couple more of these in the state?
One in
In the-
Tupelo or
We've
something.
done one. Right now, we're finishing hotels in Kansas City, Atlanta, and Denver. We've got hotels all over the place, but we finally got talked into coming back to our home state, did Hotel Tupelo, if you've ever seen it.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of got us coming here, because it's done really well.
No, yeah,
Tupelo's a lot smaller than what this is gonna be, right?
yeah, it's a lot smaller.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this is a significant investment. It's
Oh, yeah.
it's and you asked when you one of the reasons it's taking a little longer. We opened 4 projects in the next month and a half. Look, don't ask me how that happened, where they all came at the same time. But it's like by the time we get that permit, we can turn all of our focus to this. We only have 1 project going vertical in this. So it's like when we open, it's actually 5 projects. We open those 5, like all of our attention turns to this, which is actually, the timing's been good. It kind of naturally slowed itself down. We never slowed it down. But yeah, I would be surprised, assuming we can work everything out and make the thing go. I would be surprised if we're not moving dirt in 60 days. And like, we won't stop or slow down. Like I said, it's always, the hard part's starting and finishing. Like, the middle's easy, but it's really hard to get going. What's that?
This be your second one in Mississippi?
Total projects?
No, hotel.
Yeah, second hotel. Yeah.
We're actually doing a small one in Gulfport.
Oh, sorry.
No, I
You're right.
forget about it all the time.
You're right.
We're doing a smaller one that got tied up in litigation and some other stuff for like 7 years before we got there. And it was called the Vogue Building, right across from City Hall, and the White Pillars Restaurant.
You know White Pillars? Anybody know yeah.
They're putting a restaurant in the front. It's like 16 or 18 hotel rooms. It's just a small project, but this will be our 3rd one in Mississippi.
So yeah, it's 16 rooms, and White Pillars is doing the restaurant in the front. It's really neat. It's one of those projects we try to talk ourselves out of a lot of times. It's a little smaller than we like to do, but it was very unusual. It had like barreled ceilings and a bunch of arches, and there's an outdoor area that's kind of like New Orleans, so we kind of had to do it. So yeah, technically this will be our 3rd, because that one opens in a month.
I wasn't sure if y'all did the Pearl or not. So.
No, I know the Pearl, yeah, but no, we didn't do that.
We've done probably 100 apartment complexes in Mississippi.
That's-
So we've done that
Okay.
before.
I got you.
That's similar, that's a similar style to what we developed, the Pearl, yeah.
How many square feet are the apartments?
Probably, off the top of my head, 80,000. Total.
Yeah.
Or you mean like per
got 95
unit?
lost out, yeah.
Yeah.
How big are the apartments?
Around 900.
900.
So there are some 3 bedrooms, there's some
3 bedrooms
efficiencies,
mostly?
but yeah.
Yeah.
We made sure to put some 3 bedrooms, because I thought they would fit well here. But yeah, I think it's a little over 900 square feet on average. But of course, it's like secure access, and there's elevators in both buildings. It's nice.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the total investment now?
That's a
We
good
differ.
question.
It says 45 million, I
Yeah.
say 50, but it's somewhere in that neighborhood.
It's upper 40 million. Yeah, it's approaching 50. That's just a lot of a lot of things. And our hotels, if anybody's been to Hotel Tupelo, they're pretty darn nice. You know, like we make a lot of effort, and it's pretty easy to spend extra in those areas, like in improved design. And like, for instance, like some branding company will come in and brand that restaurant. Like, so that's expensive. Like, we don't do stuff like that. So it's, the cost runs up pretty quick. Yeah, but it'll be approaching 50.
And I want to just touch, back up, you said when approved, 60 days you'll be moving dirt.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I know, I think everybody, you know, always assumes it's us. Funny enough, it's really hard. If you don't go around every day and call people and be like, hey, did you turn this in? Hey, did you turn this in? It becomes 6 months fast. And it's like, we're obviously busy, so we can't follow up with everybody all the time. And I just said, as soon as you can get it in, get it in, get it in, get it in. And that became now. Yeah, so it's, like I said, the timing actually ended up being nice for us because we had this crunch of a bunch of projects happening.
Yeah.
And they're kind of all over. So we're stretched pretty thin on time.
We definitely understand the need to get in the construction season, so.
Yeah.
And you're waiting on DEQ right now.
If they haven't, I think they're submitting today,
Gotcha.
which I thought was last week again. And so I'll call them from the car and say, hey, did we submit to DEQ? Because it was supposed to be last week. Which, like I said, luckily, the city's been great because we had to work out several things to make sure they had everything they need because we share so much land there. You know, and there's obviously a lot of runoff because our site is pretty darn high.
Yeah.
Which once again makes for a great project. It just makes for a challenging project. But yeah, when you come in the entrance and there's a 13-foot retaining wall, it's going to look pretty dynamic. You know, it just stinks that we have to pay for the retaining wall. But no, it's we've managed to put it was a lot more pieces than we originally intended. You'd think we know better by now, but we never do. But now all those pieces are put together. There's not anything else out there.
All right.
All right.
That helped me.
We appreciate y'all
Thank you.
Thank you.
showing the interest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do it here.
Thanks for your time.
Yes, sir.
Just for everybody's memory and new information for our two new members of the board. That's, Greg, this is what I emailed you a couple, 2 or 3 weeks ago. That's an updated copy of the resolution that we had sort of worked through with Attorney Slade last year with a copy of the final TIF plan on it. Again, the ask today is not that the TIF plan be approved, the project be approved, but that simply that the county board take the first step in the process, which is to publish a notice of intent with respect to the TIF plan. That has to be published once in the local newspaper. Then there has to be a hearing on the matter, and then the board would have to formally hear public comment, if any, and then take affirmative action to approve the county's participation in the TIF plan for the process to be final. Okay. So this is the first step in the notice part of the process.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Gentlemen, what's on your agenda today is a discussion item. There's not an action item before you. Typically, what we try to do here with respect to TIFs is, it is in fact, it's a combination of both municipality and county governments together cooperating to support a project. So there's the aspect of cooperation that's an important consideration. And so when these projects come, they are identified specifically with a municipality. I've not yet seen a TIF. Nothing has come before this board in my history where a TIF project spans separate municipalities. I guess conceptually that could happen, but we take these one municipality at a time, and we require the municipality to indicate its assent before we ever even take anything up for consideration. And so part of why there was this delay was that we were in a situation considering the documents last year where the city had not yet acted, and so there was a need for the city to act first, and then I'll accept some of the blame for there not having been any follow-through on the county side. I was unaware that the city had actually approved TIF. And so my not being aware of that, the triggering mechanism for me to bring it to you guys was being aware that the city had taken action. And so that didn't happen, and so that's why it never came before you for any further consideration back then. So we're circling back around now, and what you've heard today is that there appears to be some timeline for consideration. And so for your purposes, since there's not an action item, I just need to know, do we want to consider this on the 5th? Do you want to consider this on the 15th? What is the board's pleasure with respect to consideration of a notice of intent and the associated publication of the
Consider it on
notice
the
of public?
5th, do we have to, I mean, would that be for the public hearing, or that
No,
was
sir.
just?
No, sir. That's just to adopt a resolution of intent and to set a public hearing.
All right.
So again, there's not an action item on the board's agenda today. The purpose today was to hear about the project and for you to get a status on the project and for you guys to indicate whether or not there is still a present interest on the part of the board to consider a county participation in this TIF.
Sid, Scott, just so y'all know, what was discussed before last year, we were actually going above and beyond what our normal TIF policy is. We were given additional ad valorem to it, was what was discussed then.
Gotcha.
And it's actually being proposed now.
It's in draft form. I think formally it won't be proposed until this board adopts a resolution of intent. Because you would be stating publicly, we intend to support this TIF project on these terms. That hasn't happened yet. So if there's consideration to be given to the county's level of participation, we will need to make sure that we know what that is, what that participation is going to be, before we adopt the resolution of intent. Because the TIF plan itself will spell out the county's, and the resolution will spell out the county's participation. So it's important to know
Why don't we put it
that.
on our agenda for the 5th, and we can discuss the details in executive session
Today.
today.
I think Mr. Baker has,
I was just gonna ask, I know it's not an agenda item today, we thought it would have been, that's our confusion, obviously. Is there any way to make it an agenda item today, you want to set the public hearing? Obviously, you're not bound by anything, just to have the public hearing set. Then we can work toward make sure that you have all of your information that you don't already have, we'll make sure you have that. You don't have to take action on the day of the public hearing, you can take that at some point for the future. Obviously, we would like you to take action at the public hearing, but you don't have to.
Mark, I don't think we operate that way. Usually when we set the intent, we're gonna follow through and do it.
Okay, thank you.
all right, we'll, put it on the 5th.
Monday.
So we'll have it on there for discussion and potential action, okay?
Yep.
And we will have after the discussion that we have later today, we will have documentation available for the board on the 5th that will be in the form of a resolution of intent and a notice of publication, okay? So that's where we stand right now on that agenda item. Mr. President, am I to move forward,
Yes.
continue forward?
Let's go ahead and finish.
Well, real quick.
Okay.
Hey, Sam, can you give us an update on the 40 acres? Did you get what you needed, the city of Brandon? So everything's
We're good to go.
okay. All right, thank you.
We're good for consideration by the board? So what does good to go mean?
I'm gonna stay on
We
the
issued
agenda.
a grading permit, they were able to complete the work that Mr. Harrison was working on.
I think right now we're still waiting on engineers getting the doc.
Conditional use application? Got it. Okay. Sam, what's the timeline on, Mark, if you don't want me talking to Sam, that's, what's the timeline? Let's just assume for the sake of this discussion, we get a conditional use application filed within a couple of weeks. What's my timeline?
So you would go before the planning commission, which would be the 3rd week of this month, and then we would have to set a public hearing, and then, that would have to be in the paper for 2 weeks, and we would have the public hearings probably 8 weeks.
In end of October?
Mid-October.
Okay.
somewhere in there.
I don't know about that, but is the application finished?
It's not filed yet.
Okay, so, it's saying it needs to be twofold, it needs to be a rezoning and a conditional use. Okay. When that, I'm sorry, it needs to be twofold, it needs to be a zoning rezoning and a conditional use. Why don't we get the application and we'll figure out our timelines, and I think October is longer. I think we can put some, we can move that along.
Well, I think Tim is telling me that he's gonna have everything, paperwork next week submitted to the city.
Well, we can look at dates then, and we can, you know, we gotta publish, set the public hearing, we can go from there. As soon as we get that application, we can begin to put some quick times on this stuff. I know it's August 1 now, but October's 2 months away. I think we can.
All right.
The city might consider doing a city-initiated rezoning on property that wasn't accurately zoned to begin with. I mean, you take that position, they wouldn't require us to file an application. But I'll let the city decide if it wants an application or if it wants to take action itself. That's up to the city. That could help us streamline it, make it move faster.
All right.
Just a thought.
Yeah, that is a good thought.
Moving on.
Yep.
Y'all still,
C.
Yeah, you wanna finish yours
I
up?
wanna finish this.
okay.
Finish Craig out.
Let's go to C.
I was trying to track where we are. All right. Item C, Mr. President. I think these next items are fairly perfunctory. Board order authorizing the naming of a private drive off of Mount Helm Road near Highway 25. This is in unincorporated Rankin County. The name of the private drive is Mount Helm Trail. Again, I want to stress, this is a naming of a private drive. You're not accepting a public road. You're not creating a public road. This is the naming of a private drive. Why would the board do that? Well, we have houses currently that are accessed by this private drive, and all of the mailboxes are on Mount Helm. And so in order for us to better orient our 911 addressing and to better orient our fire response especially, and our law enforcement response and ambulance response, we need to name this private drive. And it is always best for us not to rely on the citizenry out there to come up with a name of a private drive. Number one, they won't agree. Number two, they don't want to change it. And number three, we've got rules about how to name a private drive. And so this helps us for you guys just to go ahead and do it, and then we notify the affected residents of the renaming of the road, okay? So that's what this is asking for, Mr. President, is a motion to authorize the naming of the private drive, Mount Helm Trail.
All right, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right, I made the motion, Scott Berry seconded the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item D, Mr. President, is a discussion of and potential action regarding the Genuine Mississippi Marketplace Conceptual Master Plan for development of 150 acres of property that's located within the Rankin First Industrial Park. You guys are fully aware that the Mississippi Department of Agriculture and Commerce has made a request for county participation and Rankin First participation with respect to a proposal that the commissioner is making with respect to promotion of agricultural interests. He wants to do that in Rankin County at a strategic location. He's identified this 150 acres in the park that's accessed via Highway 18 bypass just south of the railroad tracks. And he has a master plan that you've been made aware of. The Rankin First Board of Directors has requested that the county effectively consider that master plan concept and indicate its assent to it before there's any formal reply to anybody in state government that wants to know where does the Board of Supervisors stand. We have that answer, okay? And so today what I'm asking for the board to do is to discuss and then potentially act to accept the Department of Agriculture and Commerce's master plan concept and authorize the completion of arrangements with the Department of Agriculture and Commerce so that that master plan can effectively proceed.
Really, I thought we were supposed to do this on the 5th. That's what was
Well,
said to Rankin First.
We can discuss, and there's.
You don't have to act.
There's some items or an item that I think I would like to talk in executive concerning this, and then we may push it to the 5th. How's that sound?
That's fine.
There is, there's a basis for this to be discussed in executive that I will share at the appropriate time.
Yep.
But it is appropriate for discussion in executive. That's my legal opinion.
Okay.
So we'll
Thank you.
we'll continue, we
All
can
right.
continue on. Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming.
Mr. Hicks?
The only thing I have up front is the agenda for Monday,
Okay.
if there's any questions.
Do we have additional business to discuss right now?
Not at this moment.
Let's go back.
Recess and let's go in further. Yeah.
All right,
I make a motion to recess and go back into the planning commission.
Second.
all right. Brad makes a motion to recess and go back to planning, and Jay seconds that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, we recessed out of our agenda, our board meeting, and now we're going into the planning.
The nuisance.
Yeah, we're at the nuisance,
Nuisance.
level 5.
We're testing that knee.
My physical therapist is gonna be mad at me or y'all, one. Okay, first item under nuisance property considerations, gentlemen, is the Lena Freeman nuisance property at 493 Fannin Landing Circle. It's a District 2 property. Miss Ashley, I'll ask Miss Ashley, thank you for helping Brian out today. I'm gonna ask Miss Ashley if she'll demonstrate with the photos. That public hearing is open. I'll ask Miss Freeman to be prepared to come forward to address the board.
So we received a complaint on May 29th for inoperable vehicles, rubbish and debris, and grass. So these are the new pictures that were taken yesterday. The certified mail was received and no contact has been made by the owner.
Is Lena Freeman in the room? Anybody here on behalf of Ms. Freeman? Okay. Mr. President, there's not anyone here on behalf. It looks like we've got some abandoned vehicle problems, some staged vehicle, don't know anything about running condition, don't know anything about tag. So it looks like it's subject to a motion to declare.
So moved.
We'll close that
Oh,
I'm gonna
sorry.
close that public hearing. Go ahead,
So moved.
Scott.
All right, Scott makes a motion to declare it a nuisance property.
Second.
Brad seconds that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Mr. President, item 2 under the nuisance considerations is the Deborah Otwell nuisance property at 110 Cedar Brook Drive. This is a District 3 property. We'll ask Ms. Ashley to demonstrate with the photos. That public hearing is open. I'll ask Ms. Otwell to be prepared to come forward to speak to the board at the appropriate time.
So we received a complaint on June 6th for inoperable vehicles and rubbish and debris.
Are you saying now the road's not working?
What?
Got one at the road is not working?
I don't think it is.
One with no engine?
So these pictures were taken on June 6th. And then these are the new pictures that were taken yesterday.
Okay. That makes sense. Progress.
So basically, all they lack is getting the junk hauled off.
Mhm. And the certified letter was not picked up and no contact has been made.
Is Ms. Otwell in the room? Okay, if you'll please come forward. If you will, state your name and address for us, please.
Cedar Stone across the road from Alabama.
And my name is Deborah Otwell, and my address is 110 Cedar Brook Drive, Pearl, Mississippi.
Thank you. Look like you've done some improvements out there.
Right.
Um,
I think we've got a boat that needs to be moved, and then
Do you have a place you can put the boat behind the house? Or somewhere?
I'm trying to find somewhere to haul it off. Somebody's just dropped it off in my yard, and they just left.
Well,
Here I am stuck.
They just gave you a boat, huh?
Yeah. They don't have a motor or nothing else, and
Maybe somebody bring you a motor. Drop a motor.
Go fishing.
Yeah, and you'll have a combo then. Boat and a motor.
that would be nice if they
Yeah.
would.
Mike, is that something that the Marquette could handle? I mean, if somebody dropped that boat off there, I mean, what would you do? Take it to Mount Ham? I mean, it could be delivered out to the landfill, not whatever, rubbish pit or whatever out there in Mount Ham. And it'd cost you probably, I don't know, cost you more to probably pull it out there than it would to leave it with them. If you
Right.
got somebody who can hook to it and pull it. Does it have good tires on it?
No, I don't think so. Something about the hubs or something.
That what?
My son-in-law can explain that better than
Oh.
hubs are
Wheel
out.
bearings.
Oh, so you don't have to get somebody to load it on a trailer or get a wrecker to come get it?
The wheel bearings just went out on the trailer, and, it's just sitting there without no tires or wheels on it.
Who drug it over?
A guy named, Jose, I don't know his last name.
Oh, Jose.
It is over here in Brandon, yes, sir.
I mean, is that gonna be a,
Sir?
Can you get him to come get it?
I can't get in touch with him. But, what I was gonna do, I got the next door neighbor right there, he was gonna loan me his big trailer, and I was gonna carry it to Mount Hill. I just got it done with open heart surgery, I live at the house.
Okay.
And I had been long got an open heart surgery, and I had cancer right before that, so, I've been cleaning up, I'm trying to get it cleaned up, and, it looks a lot better now than it did for that.
right?
Oh, it does, for sure.
Well,
Looks good.
What we're gonna do is, we're gonna declare it a nuisance where we don't have to go through this process again, and our building department's gonna monitor. But, I mean, I guess, give you 30 days to get, your junk out there on the side of the road that's on a trailer, scrap iron
I
or whatever.
just gotta haul that off.
Just haul it off and do something with the boat,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay?
And just don't let it get back like that again.
Oh, no, sir. No, sir, we're not. I just been really sick here lately, and
I understand.
finally got it taken care of.
Thank you. I'm glad you feel better.
And I mean, we might can get somebody from the county with a wrecker.
He said his neighbor has a trailer he can put it on.
Okay.
Yeah, he told me I could borrow his trailer, so.
If it comes an issue, you need to reach out to us and let us know, and we might can figure out
I
something.
appreciate that.
If nothing else, we might can help you drag it onto a trailer.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you,
Thank
sir.
y'all.
Miss
Appreciate
Deborah.
y'all's work.
Miss Deborah.
All right.
So
How
gentlemen,
you
we,
wanna do this?
Brad,
I'm gonna make a motion to declare it a nuisance.
Good.
And then
Good.
have it
Close
monitored.
it.
yes, sir, we'll close that public hearing. Brad's made a motion now to declare it, but we're gonna monitor it and give them the period of
30
time.
days.
Yes, sir.
Do you need a second?
All right, Brad's made the motion, declare it a nuisance and monitor it for 30 days. Scott seconds that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passed.
Mr. President, item 3 under the nuisance property considerations is the Eric and Laura Hudson nuisance property at 105 Cedar Brook. This is a District 3 property. We'll let Ms. Ashley demonstrate with the photos. I'll ask either Mr. or Ms. Hudson to be prepared to come forward and address the board at the appropriate time.
So we received a complaint on June 6th for grass and rubbish and debris. These are the pictures that were taken on the 6th. And then these are the pictures that were taken yesterday.
Go back to the 6th. Okay.
The trailer's still sitting there, I believe.
That addition to that trailer, is it permitted?
That I don't know, I'd have to check
Yeah.
on that.
Is
I believe it was a porch,
Looks like it's a porch.
and I think.
Porch?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Was the porch on there on
And
the
it's got
6th?
curtains
Oh,
up.
I see, it was a porch, it is a porch, maybe with some curtains or something to block the sun.
sunshade.
Okay, I thought that was where they were taking it in as living quarters.
Mr. President, there doesn't appear to be anyone here who's been called to the public hearing. So at this time, we'll close that public hearing. Brad,
I'll make a motion to declare it a nuisance.
Second.
All right, Brad makes a motion to declare it a nuisance. Jay seconds that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Did y'all have any response from anybody there?
Mr. President, for the record, that hearing's closed. I think I did close it. Item 4 is the Frankie Thompson Estate, nuisance property at 116 Sand Hill Cove. It's a District 4 property. I will ask Ms. Ashley to demonstrate with the photos. If there's anyone here on behalf of that estate, please be prepared to come forward.
So we received a complaint on someone possibly living in a recreational vehicle, grass and rubbish and debris. These are the pictures that were taken July 2nd. And then these are the new pictures. This is Miss Deborah Gowan.
Yes.
She's an heir to the property, and she made contact with the office, and she's hired somebody. She's had it cleaned up.
Was somebody living in the camp?
I don't think anymore.
Well, I'm not really sure. There's 4 of us that was left the property, and when we came to courthouse after Frankie passed, it was put in my, Deborah Gowan's name, and Jimmy Scott Thompson's name. Now, I'm the oldest, I was the adopted one, but they would only let us put 2 names on that day. We couldn't list Donna Thompson or Wanda Thompson. So that's why I'm on it with him. I do not live in the location. I live at 119 Langford Drive here in Brandon. I have hired someone to clean up the place. I understand it's a nuisance. Jimmy Scott has really bad issues. I have come to the Chancery Court. I've tried to get help. Every which way we've turned, we can get no help. You know, I mean,
What kind of help are you looking for?
he needs to be put away. He's a drug addict. Plain and simple. He's got brain issues. He's lost the front lobe of his brain. He uses no common sense whatsoever. We have spent money. We have put him in rehab. I know that the law has been out there on numerous times, but there's nothing we can do about it. We've tried. There's no help here. We'll get him, come up here and got a warrant to have him moved to Meridian, but nothing was done. Each time we even had to hire somebody out because Rankin County couldn't get the appropriate subpoena to him, or I'm not really sure about all that, but we did that and we've had no help.
But that's who's
We're
been
on
living out there?
He was. Now, apparently, about 2 weeks ago, he got in trouble in Jackson. I don't know when the letter come out. I went out there and checked the mailbox. I found a registered letter from it. I don't know what to do. I've cleaned it up. I've hired somebody to go out there. We will continue working on it. There's no power, no water. He could be back any day. I don't know. He says that before we lose it, I need to come up here and handle it. Now, what that meant by him, I don't know. I tried to get him to sign his part over to me, but he will not. He's tried to take my part away from me where he could sell it, but I refuse to give it to him.
Do you want us to try to encourage him to, I don't know legally if we can do that, but I mean.
Yes, so what needs to happen is we don't allow a camper, an RV camper, to be used as a dwelling. We don't allow that.
Well, nobody's living in it.
Yes, ma'am.
Whose camper is it?
It's supposedly his.
I see.
Apparently, our sister was living there trying to help him, but it got so tough that she just couldn't. She had to move out. Okay. And he had bought the camper saying that he was going to live in it, but nobody's ever lived in it. I mean, and to my knowledge, nobody will. When we clean up the inside of the trailer, our plans are to put all of his personal items in the camper trailer. Unless you got a better suggestion, I don't know what to do.
But you said you've gone through Chancery Court and
Yes, sir.
went through the process of
Trying to get him committed or something?
committed?
Yes.
He's been committed?
Ma'am?
We went through that in December, didn't pick him up, and I'm sure there are reasons why, and I don't know all of the laws, but we did go to court and do all of that, and apparently there's still a warrant out, but I don't know.
There's some kind of trouble in Madison County. I'm not sure what it is. He will not discuss it with us. We're just the evil sisters.
Do y'all think he's locked up? I mean,
He was, but no, he's not right now.
what you wanna do?
Does he have a job?
No, he's totally disabled.
Oh, so he gets a check?
Yeah, oh yeah, oh
Okay.
yeah. Uh-huh.
So gentlemen, where we stand on this, you see it's still positioned, it's still titled in the state proceeding. We're in a difficult, the justice court's not interested in dealing with an estate title holder. They don't want to send them up there, when they are titled in an estate like this.
Yeah.
They want a live body, somebody that they can haul in front of them to address the nuisance.
Well, the
status
place
of the
looks
property.
good now.
Yeah.
It's, go back to the, where you can see that, there's windows knocked out of that.
There
driveway.
was.
Oh,
I have
yes?
replaced the windows.
You have?
Several times, yes.
That's from yesterday, Steve.
It doesn't, no, the
No,
meter's gone.
No water, no power. It's been off close to a year now.
Go back to the original state. That's what it looked like the first time, that's from July 2nd. That's what it looked like the first time. We saw these pictures previously.
Yeah, I remember
Right.
seeing them.
Yeah. So that's what it looked like. Now, go back to what y'all did yesterday. The condition is dramatically
It is,
improved, much
yeah.
improved.
But, I mean, we gotta figure out a way to keep him
Yeah.
from going and trashing it back up. And I mean, it shouldn't be on,
He has a quarter interest in the property.
I know.
And it's an undivided interest. We can't quarter off a piece of that and say, that's as far as you can go, just draw a line out on it. It's an undivided interest in the property.
And he won't sell to y'all?
Well, he's tried to, or he's approached the subject with me, and I refuse to buy it from him because we do know where the money's gonna go, straight on drugs.
Well, I mean, this is,
Unfortunately, you're gonna be in a non-ending cycle here because he's gonna come back, dirty it up, y'all are gonna come back right here again. And so, but you're gonna have to continue spending money to get it cleaned up.
but I mean, you
We've
might be
done this for
better.
10 years. I mean, this
But
will
it-
never end.
I just think it'd be better for y'all to just go ahead and buy
Sell it.
his part out, then y'all can
Mhm.
either, well, I mean, she said, it's come to him. And I mean, if y'all can get that interest that he owns out of his, in y'all's name, then y'all can do either.
Once he tenders his interest, which would just be by virtue of a quitclaim deed, like, any attorney can draw that up for you, it's a literally two-page document. Just tenders all of his interest in that estate to you guys in exchange for some form of payment. He can't come back on that property.
Okay, well, I'll talk to my sisters and see if we can get something worked out. But I've got a feeling he's not gonna do it.
Well,
'Cause he
and I
has-
mean, you can't control what he's gonna use the money for.
Right.
But I mean, y'all gonna end up having to deal with this every 6 months.
They have.
Y'all been doing a lot longer than 6 months.
I don't know what his warrants are for. You know, the judicial system could help if they took, an interest in it, and
Well, maybe he'll get picked up.
Well, he tells me that he's going to have to go to rehab because of whatever has gone on. He was arrested about a year ago in
Probably court
Bloodstack,
order.
and now they have indicted him.
Oh, so he better be going away anyway.
he might be.
And you might can get the property out of his name, then,
You
'cause
can
he's
get it
gonna need some
settled, yeah,
legal
before
advice.
he goes to, to jail or, before he gets in further trouble. Y'all could get it cleared out where y'all could get it in y'all's name.
But you understand where we are, we're kind of where you are. We don't have any choice but to deal with what's before us. And we don't have the authority to, say, all right, you're off the hook. But, yeah.
On the record, can you say his name, full name on?
Jimmy Scott Thompson.
Jimmy Scott Thompson. You got that? Jimmy Scott Thompson.
He's well known around here. He used to be a deputy.
All right, well, all we can do at this point is monitor it, and if it gets back like it is, we'll be back in here. You know, I guess at some point, something will break loose. And, I mean, it hadn't, I know, for years, but hopefully the sisters can talk to him and get him to convey his interest to you, or y'all, and then y'all can do whatever you want to with the property. The property is valuable property, and it doesn't need to look like it did. It's
really not fair to y'all to have to keep cleaning it up and repairing it, and all he does is keep coming back and destroying it, and getting it in bad shape.
We're gonna find out what the status of the title ownership of the mobile home is too, just to be sure.
Okay.
I'm concerned that the trailer may actually be assessed separately.
Yeah.
And not an item of real property, so before, I don't want the sisters acting on my free legal advice, right? And there being an error in my understanding of the situation on the front end, okay? That's why it's dangerous to give free legal advice. You get what you pay for, by the way. You get what you pay for, so free legal advice is not gonna get you real far. So we're gonna try to find out what the status of that trailer is and make sure before we just do a quick claim.
and the camper trailer too.
Yeah, it'd be good if if what happens at that moment in time is that it's well documented that he's got 30 days to get the RV gone, and if it's not gone, they have the ability, the right then to dispose of the RV any way they see fit.
The RV has been an issue and a problem in the past. I don't want to let, I want to make sure the RV is taken care of also.
Okay, I'm not really sure whose name it's in, because he just tied it up there one day.
Yeah.
But do we have any legal standards with me being on the deed to have it moved?
Yes, ma'am, at some point, if it becomes clear that he's willing to give away his interest in the property, that's the triggering point. That's when the sisters can have autonomy with respect to the property. Y'all can say, I want that camper gone. It's trespassing on my property. Currently, he has a quarter interest in the property.
Sure, correct.
Undivided. So he would say, that RV is sitting on my quarter interest, leave it alone.
But you might can get the VIN number off of that RV and it might not be in his name.
May not be, I have question on that myself.
Well, I mean, I think you can reach out to the sheriff's department with the VIN number and they can run it to see whose
Okay.
name it's in.
Yeah, if it's in somebody else, I'm sorry.
We do not have a warrant for Jimmy Scott Thompson.
Really? So wow. Let me-
Rankin County doesn't, is what he said.
Madison did, his attorney is Kevin Camp. And I was told that the warrants are in Madison. He was arrested about a year ago on some drug charges and weapon charges. And, that it's coming up, if I'm not mistaken now, it's August the 24th. Because he did himself tell me that he had to go to rehab to try to get these charges lessened. All the charges that were up from Rankin County has been settled now. That's been, what, a couple of years ago that we had all that trouble?
I'll just check
Yeah.
anything that come out, check them out, stick a change your pickup over.
But we need to move on, but we do definitely appreciate y'all getting it cleaned up, and I'm sure the neighbors appreciate it too.
All right,
So,
what's your
Mr.
motion?
President, can I make a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. My motion. I would suggest that we let the record reflect that no action's taken here, and that we are, I tell you what, let's do it this way. Let's go ahead and declare it a nuisance, right?
Yeah.
And I'll clarify that for the sisters that are here listening. We'll declare it a nuisance, that way we don't have to reset everything and try to start over. Let's declare it a nuisance, and we're gonna ask our community development folks to monitor the status of the RV and any other, if there's occupancy issues that result here, we need to know about that so we can stay on top of it. So we'll just ask the Community Development Office to monitor the property consistently and try to communicate with one of the sisters regularly about the status. Okay, so that would be the motion. Go ahead and declare it a nuisance, but we're not going to refer it up to Justice Court because of the situation with respect to the title. Okay?
All right, that's my motion.
Second.
Brad seconds the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Mr. President, that hearing is closed, if I didn't.
Yeah.
Item 5 is the Jessica Downey nuisance property. This is a review at 121 Andrew Jackson Circle. This is a District 1 property.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask Ms. Ashley if she will demonstrate with the photos. If Ms. Downey or anyone on her behalf is here, they should be prepared to come forward at this time. Okay?
Easy.
Yeah, that's the wrong one. Or is it? No, it's not. That's
That's
the
right.
right one.
That's the fourth picture.
Don't scare me.
I got one similar.
So we received a call on June 17th about an emergency action that was needed to evaluate the need to condemn a property. These pictures were taken on the 17th.
That's the garage.
I do believe so, yes. So these are the new pictures that were taken on July 30th. The inside of the home has been cleaned and all rubbish and debris has been removed from the home. And she's still working on cleaning the outside.
Is the house that had a lot of cats? Or
Dogs.
Dogs.
This is where her friend come over and helped her get cleaned up.
Mhm.
Working on having it get cleaned up. Wow.
Drastic improvement.
Do we want to monitor it and give them another 30 days or something? Whose district is this?
Yeah, that's mine. Yeah, I'd say, I mean, it's obvious they made significant improvement, you know, and
Definitely.
it's hard to get everything in 30 days. You know, so we monitor it, give them, you know, another 30 days to work on the outside. I believe, y'all think y'all could work with that, you know, on the outside, another 30 days to work on some improvement on the outside.
You need more time than that to do the back.
Talk to us.
Where's the back porch? Can you show us some other outside pictures?
This is perfect time to talk to them and tell them what's all going
These
on
are
that you gotta do.
Tell us what's happening, the process.
It's mainly just getting, the wood that's on the sawhorses right there is wood stacked up to replace the back porch.
Well, like the 55-gallon
Drums
drum that's on
and
facing.
drums.
That's
Yeah.
empty, we can get rid of that.
Yeah, we can get rid of that.
I mean, that's what we're looking at, the clutter on the
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah, cleaning the
That's a
outside
saw
up.
that's gotta get around, a heavy saw that has to get around back in the garage after it got cleaned up.
Mainly what you can see from the road is what
Well,
we're,
you can't see, okay, well, from the road, yeah, would be the sawhorses that have the wood stacked on them, to fix the back porch, the doghouse, the barrel, that's saw.
Right.
The grass needs to be cut again, and
Looks like a vehicle with a cover over it. Is that a vehicle?
Yes.
it is.
Explain to them about the car.
Okay, so her husband passed away in December, and the truck actually belongs to her oldest son who is disabled. The truck will never be repaired, the truck will never be moved from that spot. It will never have a tag on it,
Yeah. We'll just keep it covered.
keep it covered.
But yeah, we
Get
need
some-
to just get it cleaned up outside, just look it nice, make it look nice.
We'll
And
try
as
to
long
get
as
those
y'all are
sawhorses
making-
around the back then.
As long as y'all are making progress, you know,
We won't send it to justice court.
yeah.
Yeah.
But y'all have done a great job.
You have.
thank you.
Thanks.
And,
All
I
right.
see there's a dog there.
That's, one of the dogs that Rankin County couldn't
They
catch.
couldn't
that
catch
day.
it. So they left it.
There was 2 dogs that they couldn't catch.
But they
and
took
she's
all
one
of
them.
them.
But she's an outside dog, she's,
Yeah.
that's her.
We're not growing any more past this though, right?
No.
No,
Okay,
not going backwards.
all right.
So really, yeah, the only thing from the front of the house is the sawhorses
Yeah.
with the wood on it and,
Barrel.
yeah, the barrel, the
Doghouse.
doghouse. Yeah.
And cut the grass.
Yeah.
Keep the grass cut.
Oh, yeah, yeah, they've got the lawnmower's in the garage.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right,
Thank y'all for the progress.
Thank you.
thank you.
Just Sid, you wanna?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to continue it for 30 days.
Second.
We're gonna continue it out to 30 days.
Were you finished talking?
I'll just sort of monitor it.
Second.
If they,
All right.
they're satisfied with progress is continuing to be made, we won't even have a hearing.
We don't have to take any
They'll report
action.
to us and
Okay,
say Progress is being made, progress is being made.
okay.
Because at some point, if progress stops,
Review.
and we're still
All
having
right.
problems, then we'll have to
Yeah.
reconvene. So,
All right,
the
thank
ball's
you.
in y'all's court. Thank you for what you've done. All right?
Ashley, because it's a review,
Thank you. Y'all have a great
we just
day.
want y'all to monitor it.
Okay.
And in 30 days or so, go out and look and see
Yes.
what's going on and report back to
I
us.
think this is a follow-through on the first time we heard this,
Right, this is the
we
second
understood,
time.
yeah, we understood that there was gonna be some action taken, and lo and behold, it was.
Sure was.
So I'm grateful for that. I want to say, I'm grateful for the assistance and for all the work that's obviously been done. That's a dramatic transformation. That review hearing is closed. The next one is the David Key nuisance property review. This is 163 Pine Acre Place. It's a District 3 property. We'll open that review hearing. I'll ask Mr. Key, or anyone on his behalf to be prepared to come forward, and Ms. Ashley to demonstrate the photos.
So we received a report on June 17th from our sheriff's department on an uninhabitable manufactured home. These are the body cam footages from the deputy.
This was the cats.
Mhm. And these are the new pictures that were taken yesterday. I believe the daughter and son
Yep.
are cleaning up the property. They've removed several trees, some debris. They're trying to, correct me if I'm wrong, they're trying to clean up to get to the manufactured
To
home
get
to demolish.
Well, part of that is also right now waiting for animal control to finish up. There's still about 10 cats out there. They're building a new cat house too with animal control, so that put them behind, plus the heat. But once they
Did
get,
these cats have like?
yeah, they
cat
catch
AIDS or-
HIV, so they're taking care of them, and the one they can save, they found in foster homes for them, and he's doing a great job and been super helpful. It's just waiting on the heat, and kind of bad timing with them building a new cat enclosure at animal control because they shut down the other one for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But it's just
I
waiting
think it was
that.
full, the reason they.
Yeah, and also we got 3D construction. The Dupree boys, they're just waiting for us to give them the call once we get animal control, finish it up.
Okay.
And about 95% of the yard is done.
But y'all's plans on when animal control gets through is demolish
Yeah,
it and remove
Bert
everything.
Dupree's are gonna come out there and take it out completely.
Y'all gonna put another one back?
Yeah.
All right.
Did I see a broke down vehicle?
Yeah, we got someone coming to get that in the next couple of weeks once they can get time to come out there and grab it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So we're just gonna continue to monitor.
This was also a review.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Right now,
y'all's work.
it's just borrowing the time with the heat and animal control.
Yeah.
But
Sorry for your loss.
thank you.
All right,
For all the work. Appreciate that.
thank
y'all.
you.
Okay, just give me a call and, you know, it's, okay.
Mr. President, that's the last.
All right.
Matter of business.
Our next meeting will be held August 29th at 9 a.m.
Give me a call.
Do I have a motion to recess out of the planning commission? Jay makes a motion.
Second.
Scott seconds the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. We've recessed, and now we're gonna go.
I don't think we can go ahead and go into executive session.
Yeah,
I make a
but-
motion to discuss the need for going into executive session.
Second.
All right,
So we've
Jay?
got multiple matters that will be applicable here. You've got potential litigation, you've got expansion of
Jay made a motion to go into executive session for all of those reasons. And
I second.
Brad second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we now need,
Make a motion going to executive session for all those reasons.
Jay makes a motion again to go into executive session for all of those reasons.
Second.
Brad seconds that motion. All in favor? Aye. We're in executive session.